Milhouse of Sand and Fog is a pretty good episode of The Simpsons. This is the third episode of the 17th season. It's directed by David Silverman and Stephen Dean Moore, and it starts off with Maggie having the chicken pox. And I have to say, I rather like how well the chicken pox were animated. They weren't too obvious and cartoony, if that makes sense. I just thought it was subtle and very effective. And they decide to have a pox party, which it's worth pointing out that pox parties are not always the best idea, but I think the intentions are pretty good. And while there, Milhouse's parents are both there at the same time, kind of by accident, and they end up getting back together, and it kind of made me feel a bit sick to my stomach. As somebody whose parents separated and got back together and separated and got back together, it's very confusing and damaging and absolutely not something that parents should do lightly because it's a terrible idea. And Milhouse is initially very excited about this, of course, but then he kind of realizes that his parents are no longer competing for his love, so he and Bart hatch a plan to make them separate because, as Bart says, they're going to separate again anyway. So let's just hurry it along and save all of the problems. But obviously, things don't go according to plan. I will say no more than that at the moment, but I really liked it. Not necessarily because his parents got back together, but because I think it was a really interesting narrative, something that I hadn't expected to happen, and what they did as a result of that and the outcome of that I thought was really entertaining for the right reasons, but also very thought-provoking as well, particularly if you've been through that kind of situation. Definitely one that I enjoyed. We also have quite a dramatic moment, actually, with... so this will be a spoiler. I think everything I'm going to say now will be a spoiler. I don't have anything else to say that's a non-spoiler, so just to sum up, without spoilers, I really liked it. I thought it was a well-written narrative and very realistic about the emotions that different parties go through when parents are getting back together, and also very well animated with regard to the pox. So, spoilers from now. I'm going to discuss what happened towards the end of the episode and why I found it to be quite dramatic and also very funny. So the plan that Bart has to jump off of a cliff, to throw a dummy of himself off of the cliff so his parents will put their bickering aside and save him, I think it was very obvious that it was going to go terribly wrong, but when Milhouse pushed the wrong Bart off, I think my jaw genuinely dropped, because I knew something would go wrong, but I didn't expect Bart to be just completely thrown off, and it kind of took me by surprise, and I genuinely thought, how is he going to survive this? So that was pretty gripping. And then the last thing that Milhouse does amused me as well. I thought that was very well done. And the whole thing about trust after years of marriage was an important message and a nice way to conclude the episode. I really liked it. Not every episode I'm 3 episodes into season 17, but it's not currently been the strongest season. But this third episode, Milhouse of Sand and Fog, I thought was pretty good.